Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. We start off today's podcast with just me and Rob sitting around thumbing through Oklahoma's media guide. And then we got a very special guest all the way from Mesa, Arizona, Bret Burns on the podcast. That's right. The Angry Sooner is on, talking Sooner football with us. Sooner football fans is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. Boom up. Hey, Sooner football fans. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer, Rob.
Boomer, Terry.
Well, how's it going, Rob?
Man, I can't complain. I'm inside where it's cool.
Well, it ain't too cool in here right now.
Well, it's a heck of a lot cooler in here than it is out there.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of air conditioning issues at the Long household. So it's a little tepid in here. So I'm hoping I can keep it strong through the weekend, so we're not sitting around sweltering like we were in California. But
it's a little warm.
It's kind of a slow week, but I haven't shared this with you so far, Rob. But I haven't pinned down dates.
Is she tall and is she blonde?
No.
Short and brunette? Medium and redhead?
No. Well,
I mean, come on, Terry.
I've been working on the podcast.
Those dates.
Yeah.
My bad.
I've been in contact with FAU Owl's Nest podcast. And we're working on a date for the week of the game.
Is she hot? Okay. I'm sorry. Just joking.
To do a podcast with them, and also the What's Brewing podcast, which is a UCLA podcast, and still reaching out to some others. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing when the season starts is some podcast with podcasters like us.
Heck yeah.
And talk some trash to the upcoming opponents. But anyway, it's kind of a slow week. Tomorrow, July 22nd, is Meet the Team Day. And what do you think about the new, well, it's been not really the new format, but it's been the format for a while. Rob, as long as you got a kid, the kids can get an autograph, but adults can't.
Right. I love it. I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I think they did that because it was just too many people showing up and too many grown-ass men standing there with 10 footballs.
Well, and they're very pushy. I remember when my kids were small and I took them up there. They were kids club members, and we got to go in 30 minutes before general public.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, there are grown men without kids going in there, 2 or 3 footballs and a helmet, and they'll knock a kid out of the way. I was fully prepared to twist somebody's head off. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, I know it got ridiculous, and they were showing, when it was going on, they were showing the crowds, and it was, lined up around the stadium 2 or 3 times and up the street, and they just couldn't get stuff through. But I think it's cool that they're focusing in on kids.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Those people that are trying to make money off that, go get a job. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's for the kids. And if you want to make money, I don't know, do something else.
Yeah. But so that'll be pretty neat. I'm not, I don't think I've ever gone down there. I think I went once, and it was a long time ago. But I stood in line long enough and left. So
out in that heat.
Yeah, and on a day like today and tomorrow, it's not any time you want to be standing out there.
Well, yeah, I can remember being on the old practice field that's out in front. That used to be out in the in the south part of the field. It's still practice field out there now, but it was a lot different before the
now it's the coaches
south end zone renovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, standing in lines out there,
Yeah.
with all 3 of my sons, trying to get, their little autograph books, which we don't have any of them now.
Yeah.
I don't think we have one single thing that any of them got signed still.
You went through all that work for them.
I'm just like, man, that was a waste of time. They'll remember it, I guess, if they do remember. Maybe they remember, hey, Dad made me stand out here in the hot sun to get some autographs from people I don't even know.
Yeah.
So,
well, no, but we've got a guest that we're going to be having on here in a little bit, and they're running a little bit behind. So we just thought we'd kind of flip through the media guide here. Not that we don't have one on our person, but we do have one online. And the first page, when you open it up, has Lincoln Riley, school record 12 wins by first-year head coach, 2017 Big 12 champions, number 2 seed in college football playoff, number 1 offense in the country, 4 first-team All-Americans.
Does it give a defensive rank?
No.
Okay.
9 national awards, Heisman Trophy winner, 4 draft picks, and the number 1 overall draft pick. Now, I know he's the first-year head coach, but how much is that? Take outside the offense, how much is Lincoln Riley and not Bob Stoops?
Man, that's a good question. Well, I mean, it was his offense, you know. So, but you know what? Bob is responsible for putting into place the procedure, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Of what it is to be, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, you know that. I'm talking about something that was built a long time ago, even before Barry and
before
Bob just kept it up, and
yeah.
now Lincoln is doing the same thing. But man, I don't know. I would have to say Lincoln's responsible for a pretty big part of it.
I mean, you know, he was handed the reins, but he had to steer it. So there's been a lot of guys in the same situation tank it. So, but man, there is a lot of stuff in this thing. Let's look at the history here. See if I can.
There should be Blue Blood program.
Zoom in here and see what we got. This is 2018 will be the 124th season of OU football.
124?
Yeah.
Wow.
1895 was the first year of football. All-time record, 884 wins, 323 losses, and 53 ties. Bowl record, this kind of surprised me, 29, 21, and 1. And, of course, 7 national championships.
Unless we do like, you know, Alabama and Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. We count all those years that we went undefeated.
Yeah, well, here's another thing. You know, we got national championships, AP. Then there's national championships, NCAA recognized. How many we got?
That are unrecognized?
That are recognized.
7.
No, that's AP top. AP national championships. It has national championships, NCAA recognized.
How many?
16.
16.
Yes.
But you know what else, Terry? Take for instance, the year that, or the span of 4 years that we went undefeated for 4 straight years.
Yeah.
We only have 2 national titles.
Right.
I mean, tell me how that's possible.
Right. Yeah. But see here, it says national championships, NCAA recognized 16. 2003, 2000, 1986, 85, 80, 78, 75, 74, 73, 67, 57, 56, 55, 53, 50, and 49.
So the 03, that's the year we lost to USC and they had it stripped from them. We don't claim that.
We don't claim it.
Well, no, we don't claim it because we got our asses. I mean, we got thumped.
But I guess the NCAA recognizes us in those years as national champions.
Did not know that.
You know, we should have had this media guide before, huh?
You know, if it had been super close or something, I still don't even think we'd claim it. But I mean, didn't we get like 55-10 stomped in?
Yeah, we got it handed to us. Let's see. How many undefeated seasons that we have?
34.
14.
I was right there. I was really close.
2000, and what was the year before 2000?
That we went undefeated?
Yeah.
1985.
Nope.
1984.
Nope.
1975. 1974.
74. 1974.
I knew I'd get it sooner or later. I mean, you could have given me a higher or lower, but
Yeah. 10-win seasons, 38. That's number one in the nations. We've had more 10-win seasons than anybody else. Most consecutive wins,
who did we lose to in '85?
Miami. Don't look at me like
Yeah, that was
Troy Aikman got hurt. And
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and that's when they brought in Jamil. Let's see. All-time points scored.
What do you? I mean,
How many points have we scored?
50,000, or I mean, what are you looking for?
Yeah, it's pretty close. 35,000.
See, I was right there. I'm all over this.
Let's see. How many games have we had on television?
Oh, geez. How many games total?
Yeah.
75.
394.
That was my next guess.
Yeah, and our record on TV is 277, 114, and 5.
That's nice.
What year was our first game on TV? Was the first time the Sooners were on TV?
1960.
Nope.
1954.
Nope.
7.
Nope.
6.
Nope. 2.
I was going to get there.
What was John Blake's record?
John Blake's record. Yeah, I guess it had to be like 19-22 or something.
Yeah, you got the losses right. 12-22.
12-22.
Yeah, Schnelly.
Well, see, I'm a fan, so I can up that by 7, and I'm okay.
Schnelly was 5-5-1. We tied that year. Who did we tie?
Let's see.
It was Texas.
Yep, it was
we tied Texas.
Yeah, I remember that because they were ranked number 1 or 2 that year. I think.
Yeah,
and we were 0-5. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So
that's the year we lost to Tulsa, isn't it? Oh,
no, that was John Blake.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. We're third in national championships. Weeks ranked in the AP top 5. We were number 1.
You know, Oklahoma State won a national championship in 1945. I wonder what our record was that year. Did we go undefeated?
I don't know.
Because, we could claim a little portion of that, I think.
Undefeated 1945? No. We were undefeated in 49.
Okay.
And there's, like people don't know their way around the stadium.
So I am interested in watching Last Chance U. I've seen the first 2 seasons. Are you interested at all in seeing it?
Yeah, I am. It came out, I guess, Friday night at midnight is when they dropped all the episodes.
Well, we have one player that will be on there. I really hope he's a starter. I don't know. I mean, I've heard the name Traymonda Moore, and I've seen his picture, and he's a big hulking kid.
Yeah.
But, some of them kids are on there just because they can't make the grade or they got attitude problems or...
Yeah, I mean, I really hope this season is... it's Independence, Kansas, isn't it?
Independence Pirates.
Yeah, because I was getting a little bit burnt on Knothead down there. And
well, all of them. I was just like, oh, my gosh. You guys are idiots. You're getting a one more chance, and you're, acting like the world owes you something.
Yeah.
So,
and I thought it was interesting, I guess the grade checker lady, she would walk around the hall, and, there was only, 2 buildings in that place, and she would stand out in the hallway to make sure, and then check and make sure they were all in class.
And gave out pencils.
Yeah.
Listen, your mom does not go to college with you.
I mean, if I understand they're helping them out, and, every kid's different and, needs to be pushed in different ways. But if you got to have a grown woman when you're 19, 20 years old, 18, 19, 20 years old, hunting you down to make sure you go to class,
Yeah, something about that just doesn't shine success, does it?
But I did like their ice tub and all that stuff out there. That
it was good stuff.
That trough,
just easing right down into it.
Yeah, it ain't nothing like what we got up at up here in Norman.
Do you think we have someone that's standing out in the hallway going, "Hey, are you going to class?"
No,
We don't have that, do we?
I don't think
Surely
so.
we don't have that.
I
hope we don't have that.
I don't know how we would. I mean, they'd have to be in every dang building, you know. I'm sure they've got somebody that contacts the instructors to make sure they were in class, and
Well, they got to be accountable, to
Yeah.
the coaches and stuff for that. And I get that. We're paying, not necessarily paying, but you're receiving a scholarship.
Yeah.
You need to be responsible and go to class.
yeah. Okay.
On a total side note, the Strangers are getting destroyed by the Cleveland Indians 6-0.
Okay, I understand what they're doing here, but I just turned a page in the media guide, and it says explosive offense, and then you turn the page, and it says dominating defense.
Is it pictures of our guys, or are they? Is there another team in there? I mean, no.
Yeah.
Dominating defense, maybe.
Oh, yeah, it has all these stats out here, but
Is there like small print, in just this one game?
yeah.
Because really, I mean, against Ohio State, it was a dominating defense.
Yeah.
So maybe in the small print there, it says dominating defense at Ohio State.
Yeah. And it has players on there. It has Gallimore, Kenneth Murray, Caleb
Neville
Kelly.
Gallimore.
But it just shocked me. Parnell Motley has some guys in there. But it's mainly, since 2000, Oklahoma has produced stuff. But we haven't had a dominating defense in 4 or 5 years.
It's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
Unless you want to single out a game here and there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe like the first half of the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
You want to probably leave out that third quarter and probably that fourth quarter, but the first two quarters.
It was pretty dominating.
Pretty dominating.
It goes through the renovating of the stadium. There's not much that really jumps out that if you're not familiar with OU, you might not know about. But hey, they got some stadium stats and
what's our official number? 86 something. 86,000 seat capacity or something.
Oh, let's
87?
see. Oh, this. Let me go find it here.
Of course, all the fans listening, they know there's upwards of 90 something in there. So
87,000.
87. There's probably closer to 97. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, just longest plays. 96-yard rushing. You know who that was?
96. Yes, I know who that was. That was.
If you get this, I will give you all the props in the world.
No, I know this. I do. It was Antonio. No. Oh, come on.
Come on, Rob.
Okay. Yeah, I can't.
Jeff Frazier.
Dang it. See, that was right. It was
Right
on the tip of my tongue. Jeff Frazier.
Longest pass play at Gaylord, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. You brought the team up earlier.
I did.
Yeah.
It's going to be Jamel Holloway.
No, Tulsa.
It's going to be Tulsa.
99-yard Tulsa's Troy DeGar to West Caswell.
Okay.
Yeah, it was against us.
All right.
And I was right there.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
no wonder I missed that first question.
Yeah. Let's see. There's been 3 100-yard kickoff returns at the stadium.
Were they all at West Virginia?
No, they were in the stadium. So,
okay, all right.
Can you want to take a gab at who they are?
No, I wouldn't even have a clue.
Roy Finch,
Buster
Rhymes, and Mac Heron.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know who Mac Heron is, but and guess who has all the Oh, good God. Guess who has all the passing records at Memorial Stadium?
Landry Jones.
Yes, he does. Who has the most receiving yards? You won't get this. It's an opposing team.
Oh.
Kansas.
Really?
In 2008, Desmond Briscoe, 269 receiving yards. Good God.
That seems like I remember that. That's one of them stellar Mike Stoops defenses right there.
Holy cow.
We need to get the faux Mike Stoops back on so we can yell at him about that.
Most tackles in a single game.
Ours or theirs?
Ours.
It's going to be Torrance Marshall.
Nope.
It's going to be Rocky Kelmus.
Nope.
It's going to be
Daryl Hunt.
Daryl Hunt. Okay.
He was a safety, wasn't he? I think. He had 19 tackles against Vanderbilt in 1977.
Good Lord. That's like the whole game.
So, yeah, that's some kind of interesting stuff there. Yeah. But
I'm sure everybody loved to hear me guess on all those.
Oh, yeah. They're probably sitting there going, I know it. I know it.
Some of those, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to be
you'd have to be
Al Ashback or something.
Yeah. But, no, pretty interesting. But let's go ahead. Let me just check my phone real quick. And I just got a message, so maybe our guest is about ready. Yes, he is. So what we're going to do is get our guest on right now. All right, now on the podcast, all the way from Mesa, Arizona, the artist formerly known as the Angry Sooner. We've got Bret Burns on with us, guys. Boomer, Bret.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Fantastic. Fantastic. So, how is life out in Arizona today?
It's hot. It's always hot.
Yeah, well, it's hot here in Oklahoma right now, too, because, I believe my air conditioner here at the house is on the fritz, because it's out there going, and it's only pushing 79 degrees in this house, and I ain't happy about it. So
that ain't cutting it, right?
No.
We hover around 72. I think we're between 72 and 75 pretty much all day, and it's 113 here most of the time. But,
yeah.
I just replaced the capacitor on mine last week, so that was a mess.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. It's kind of doing the same thing. It did this about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's kind of doing the same thing. It's blowing cold air, but not cold air, just enough to keep it, unmiserable. But
yeah.
No, but I was out in your neck of the woods, went through your neck of the woods a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you drove right through. I tried to catch you, but you're a little north.
Yeah, and I made it through twice, which makes 4 times me making it through Arizona without a ticket, which is 3 times more than Rob has.
Yes, but I also stopped at the Breaking Bad house, and Terry did not.
In New Mexico, funny. Yeah. So I got through it, but yeah, it was hot.
Oh yeah, 2 different states there.
Yeah, we were in Palmdale, California. And it was hot there. They said it was a heat wave. It was 112 degrees. Oh. And
it's funny. Californians are funny to me because every time I'm not there and I talk to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, the weather's beautiful here." And then every single time I go, and it's only about 6 hours away, so we go multiple times a year. Every single time I go, we're just having a heat wave. And I'm starting to believe that they're just always having a heat wave, and it's not quite as nice.
They just want everybody to think.
They claim it to be.
Yeah, they want everybody to think it's nice. Well, see, here's the kicker, though, is my son and his wife, they just got solar panels installed at their house, and while we were there, actually. But they didn't use their air conditioner while we were there.
Huh.
Yeah. So we sat around and watched, we went out and did a bunch of fun stuff, but we were at the house. We had, swamp ass the whole time and had the windows open.
That's nasty.
And
I wish you'd have never say that again.
It was, at night it was fine until the Thursday we were there, because the Thursday we were there, it the wind stopped blowing. But at night before then, the wind was blowing, so it had a nice little cool breeze coming through the house. But they finally turned it on when it started getting up to 112 and above. So yeah, it was a blast. I give them a hard time about it, but I come out there to spend time with you, and I sit in your house and sweat all day long. But
yeah, it's not for me. That life is not for me.
No.
But the electric rates out there are outrageous, so they're just trying to save a dime. But hopefully they'll with the solar panels.
So I'd rather be cold than hot, I promise you.
Oh yeah. So what's been going on? Haven't heard from you in a while. We've been talking on Facebook and stuff. So what's going on in Bret's world now?
Oh, little Twitter hiatus, boycott, I guess you'd say. I'm done with it. So I just decided that it's time for me to kind of focus my energy and effort elsewhere. You guys probably know as well as I do that it's really easy to get caught up in Twitter and focus a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And a lot of energy. So for me, there's kind of a moniker that comes with being the Angry Sooner and some expectation that comes with that. And it was fun for a long time, and it was a really good thing for me for a long time. It just got to a point where there was no benefit anymore to me, really. I've got plenty of other forums and mediums to be able to contact and stay in contact with the people who I've forged friendships with on there. So just Twitter itself was just a kind of daily somebody trying to fight me, right?
Yeah.
So we don't need to talk about names or anything like that. And there it wasn't always specific. Sometimes it was just random people, but it just got old for me. And so I decided to step off there. So what I've been doing in the meantime is I picked up photography. I've been interested in that for a while. So I bought a nice little Fuji camera, and I've been going around taking pictures and just kind of being creative. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. We still have our Discord server. There's a few of them lingering out there, but we still have the Sooner Republic one, which is a lot of fun. And if anybody wants to jump on there and stay in contact with me, they're more than welcome. We can get them an invite and get in there. I think y'all are in there and stop by every once in a while. But that's really it. We're ramping up at work right now, so things are getting a little crazy, and I'm putting in quite a few hours. But other than that, man, just living life and enjoying being able to just do what I want to do without logging into an app. It's a breath of fresh air, quite honestly.
Yeah. So, did you get much coverage? Did you ever get a chance to check in on Big 12 Media Days? See what was going on there?
A little bit. So the Discord server we have some bots that pull down what we have kind of determined are, the best Twitter accounts for informational purposes. So we've got Lincoln Riley tweets that are coming in there, and we've got RJ's tweets that are coming out there. Those guys are staples, obviously.
Right. And
then Sooner Gridiron, and then basically any Oklahoma football account drops down in there. So I've been able to stay up through that method, so I still get to see what's going on with Twitter without having to interact with it. So yeah, it looked like it was an interesting time.
Yeah, so
we looked good, I think.
Yeah.
Tom Herman had a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, here's what I've been asking folks since then is, what do you think of Lincoln's statement, which was pretty much almost his opening statement, when I don't even remember what the question was, but he said, "I believe this may be the most talented team we've had since I've been here." What do you think about that statement?
I think that's spot on. I mean, among the fan base and conversations that we've had for a while, I mean, we haven't seen this level of recruiting probably since Bob's early years, right? 2001, 2, and 3, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like this amount of just sheer talent across the board, coming in. I would believe that, and I think he's smart. I can't say enough about Lincoln. I'm always impressed with him. He always surprises me. He's kind of got a little Bob-esque mentality about him, where he says the right things. It's no nonsense. Like, yeah, this is absolutely the most talented team we've probably had since he's been here in 4 years, and that's saying a lot. But we're young.
Yeah,
we're really young.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that he emphasized too was it's young, and they're going to be required to step up really fast. There's good and bad in that. But the guys that we called upon last year to step up, the two corners,
Trey Norwood,
yeah,
Parnell Motley,
yeah, when they finally put them out there, they stepped up. So they're doing something right with the young guys. But I just thought it was interesting the way he put it. Was like you said, it was a Bob Stoop-esque. It wasn't arrogance; it was just kind of matter of fact. But he also set that bar pretty high. With the team, with the fan base. When you come off of your third straight Big 12 championship, and
humble confidence, I think is
right.
the word you're looking for.
Yeah, humble confidence. Good one, Rob.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
For me, it's something that I've been very vocal about on my not criticism, but my opinions of the university is that for the last 5+ years, we've done more with less than anybody in the country. You're talking about 3 Big 12 titles with, a walk-on quarterback.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Right? And then before that, 3-star talent, 2-star talent, 3-star talent coming in, and we're developing these guys and making them All-Americans and Heisman finalists. I mean, D.D. Westbrook, right? JUCO guy comes in and is a Heisman finalist as a wide receiver, right? So now what's going to happen, to me, it's going to be really interesting if we can maintain that level of development with the guys and the fire that Lincoln's creating on the recruiting trail. I mean, you have to assume that we can only get better, right? By increasing the talent but keeping the same development. You have to make that assumption, I would think. And obviously the biased homer in me says, "Hey, Alabama, we're coming for you."
That's why we're here, brother.
That's why we're here.
Right. That's easier said than done, but that's the consensus is you got a walk-on that comes in and he's one of the best quarterbacks the game has ever seen and is a Heisman winner. So what happens when a 5-star Spencer Rattler steps on? Right. Like,
we should be getting excited.
You got to expect it to get better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he brought up the fact, without, Baker and stuff, they're going to miss the leadership and everything. And, now we're just having the opposite of what we had last year. It was last year we had Baker returning, but yet we lost Westbrook, we lost P. Ryan, we lost Mixon, and everybody's like, well, who's Baker going to throw to? What, he doesn't have a backfield. Well, step up Anderson, step up Sermon, step up C.D. Lamb, Hollywood Brown. And I'm saying the same thing just backwards is now everybody's going, well, now they don't have anybody to throw it to. But I brought this up on a podcast the other day was, I'm a Steelers fan, and Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Fame quarterback, in his Hall of Fame speech said, and he said it before, he goes, I wasn't that good a quarterback. I threw it to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. I mean, if you don't have, I don't care what kind of quarterback you are, if you don't have guys who can catch it, it doesn't matter. And Bradshaw just said, hey, and that's how I felt all along, is we've got enough talent around whoever is the quarterback that it's going to make the quarterback successful.
I can't agree more. Baker Mayfield is probably one of my favorite players of all time. I think he is a lot of people's. But we're going to find out him as a Cleveland Brown was, and then I know he was good at Texas Tech too, but was it Lincoln and the talent around Baker that made him what he was at Oklahoma and one of the most efficient quarterbacks of all time? Or was it Baker that made them better? And in my personal opinion, I think it was probably a little bit of both. The truth is usually always in the middle. But
yeah,
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I've been having this conversation with people over the past few weeks. I think our offense is going to be better than it was last year, if you can believe that. I just don't think Kyler is going to be Baker.
No.
So when you talk about sheer numbers and efficiency and things like that, you're not going to look at Kyler and say, oh, yeah, he's way better than Baker Mayfield. But what this offense is going to be able to do, because people are forgetting about guys like Rambo, right?
Yeah.
Jaqualine Crawford. These are dynamic kids. CeeDee Lamb's coming back. Calcaterra was a beast when he played last year, and he's not as big as Andrews, but I have a feeling he's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this offensive line, we lose Brown, but arguably he wasn't even the best offensive lineman last year.
Yeah.
Right? So, and we've got a lot of experience there, and we've got a lot of depth there. I have no concerns about this offense at all. But what I've been saying left and right is that what I'd like to see is a lot more TCU games. And what I simply mean by that is I'd like to score quick and get ahead and get a lead, and then I want to just see us shut it down and wear some people down. Let Rodney Anderson run loose. Let Trey Sermon run loose. Get the other guys some carries in there and just slow it down. In my opinion, our defense can be dramatically better when they're off the field longer. And so if we can extend our time of possessions,
right,
then we can turn around and get those, an average defense off of the field. And that, in my opinion, is just as good as increasing the defense. And I think that's something that we could win with, even with lesser talent on the defensive side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great point, and I agree with you. I mean, what about you, Rod? As far as the offense going to be better, I don't think, replacing, Baker, yeah, that's not going to do it. But I think Kyler is going to have more rushing yards than Baker ever dreamed of having.
That's a bold statement, Cotton. I don't know.
That's a nightmare when you think about it, because Kyler's no pushover.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we've seen him throw the ball, and he can throw some beans.
Yeah.
And then those legs. I mean, that's just when you think about playing Oklahoma as a defensive coordinator, you have to lose half of your hair before that game, because what are you going to stop, and how are you going to stop it? And as soon as that happens, somebody else is wide open. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, I think.
Well, and then you got, Ben Powers out there who had, in my opinion, the greatest comment, maybe of any offensive lineman ever.
He had a few, right?
Yeah. But people ask me what motivates me. What motivates me is I love taking a grown man's dream and crushing them.
Yes. Because that's what you want in an offensive lineman. That's what you want.
I just want to beat people up all day long. And that's the thing that I like about, if you've got an offensive lineman with that kind of attitude, that attitude is feeding to the other offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. It's not just him sitting out there on his own. If it is, by the season, he's going to be punching people in the face on his own team going, you get this same mentality. Yep. You know what I mean? It's just that intense. And that's what I love seeing on the offensive side of the ball. I'm like you, the defense, we don't have to be vastly improved on defense this year, I don't think. I said vastly. Rob, don't get me a look. Rob,
that's a bold statement, Cotton.
But we don't have to be, we're 67th ranked defense. For the love of God, if we can move up to 47th ranked defense, is that good enough, Rob?
Hell no.
As an Oklahoma fan, absolutely not. Our expectations should be we should be top 10 both units every year.
10.
We're perennial all-power, right?
I agree with that, but my statement is it's not going to happen overnight.
I don't think that it'll ever happen, and I know a lot of people will get pissed off at that. I think the Big 12. I watch this league. We watch this league intently. Defensive coordinators come here to die, and that's just the truth of the matter. The offenses are so good here.
Man,
you can look back and you say, Garrett.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish what you're
saying.
I was
just saying you can look back and you can say Gary Patterson, right? But even Gary Patterson, when he plays the elite offenses, he gets burnt, right?
Yeah.
He had TCU had a great year last year. Oklahoma State. They played a really good game against those guys, but you could argue Oklahoma State has an issue with showing up to big games.
Oh, yeah.
And, when you look at TCU when they played us, we picked them apart.
Oh, yeah.
And, we're not – we were head and shoulders above everybody else, certainly. But my point is simply that I don't think anybody, as long as we remain in the Big 12, I don't think that we're ever going to have a top 20 defense.
Yeah.
What I do think, and I've had a few conversations and fights with other people, what I think is, I don't know if you guys have noticed the same thing as me, but over the past 3 years, really since Zach Sanchez left, our turnovers, we don't seem to get the turnovers. Like an interception will be in our hands, we drop it.
Right.
The guy will fumble it, and then it'll hit the ground, go 10 yards, and get them the first down, and then they'll recover it. Right. Like those type of things are happening quite often, and I believe if we can just figure out a way to capitalize on turnovers, at the end of the day, that ranking is not a big deal to me, and the stats are not a big deal to me. Give up 500 yards. I don't care, as long as we have 700 yards.
Yeah.
And we have a few turnovers to get our offense the ball and keep our defense off the field. And I think we can be a national championship team and win a national championship with the athletes and the type of defense that we play. It's just a matter of playing better complementary football where, when the defense does get a stop or get a turnover, our offense takes advantage of it, and
right.
vice versa. When the offense, does something, then the defense, it's just got to be complementary football, and I think that's what we've lacked at. Like it's really easy to point the finger at Mike. Everybody hates Mike. There's a big train on that that people are following. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't hate Mike. The only time I hate Mike is during the game. Okay. I mean, I think we talked about it when you were on before, and we had the issue with our system here, but he's our coach. So we, you need to want him to do well. But I'm in a little bit disagreement with you because the guys that they are recruiting now are monsters on the defensive side of the ball. We've got I can't quote their names because I don't follow recruiting that much. We have the guys that come on that do the follow recruiting and
sure.
report on all that stuff. We're just fans that sit here and listen to it and go, cool, But the two defensive ends that committed, 6'5" and 6'6", okay, as 17-year-old kids, and Redmond, who's
Jalen Redmond,
and Michael Thompson. Is it Thompson or Thomas?
Michael Thompson he was a DT. He's the guy that tore his ACL.
Yeah, and played 2 years in high school on a torn ACL. Yeah, and they didn't know.
I think Ron Tatum. Ron Tatum's probably the other one that you're talking about. Yeah. And I agree with you. My biggest concern is defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And in order to play the type of football that I think OU fans want to see, the SEC smash mouth, in your face, stop everything type of football, in my opinion, you have to be dominant in the middle. You've got to have some defensive tackles. And that's something it's difficult to sell a 17-year-old kid on coming to the Big 12 because the type of offenses that are played here, it doesn't lend itself to the stats that you want as a defensive lineman.
Right.
Right? So you want sacks, you want tackles for loss, you want those things because that's what looks good to get you to the next level. And traditionally, if you look at the Big 12 over the past 5 years, we haven't had a lot of defensive linemen that have gone into the league and done amazing things. They are there, but in quantity compared to other leagues, it's not, I don't think.
Yeah.
And that's my thing is it's not that nobody wants to play for Oklahoma. It's just you go tell a kid how many times were we mad at Obo last year for dropping into coverage?
Yeah.
What kid is watching those games and saying that's what I want to do? Yeah.
Well,
right?
but
I'm not against.
I think that's what they're doing now. They recruited the Obos and Strikers to do that because Obo and Striker and what's the other guy's name?
Obo?
No, Obo, Striker.
Oh.
I can't think of the other guy's name. But, 6'1", 6'1". Okay, a lot of speed, a lot of quickness. They were defensive end / linebackers. Now they're recruiting defensive ends. Okay, there's none of this slash. If Mike Stoops drops a 6'7", 6'6", 300-pound defensive end into coverage, I might go up in the press box. Okay, and get
It's probably going to happen, Terry. It's probably going to happen.
I know.
I'm just warning you now.
Yeah, but I just see them recruiting a different style of athlete, or going back to recruiting like what they did 5 and 6 years ago. And Rob and I have talked about it before. I think Mike and Bob, and I'm throwing both of them out there, had an idea of how, and I think it even goes back to what's his name that's at Clemson now? Rob Venables, yeah. I think it goes back then. They thought of a way that, hey, we can stop these Big 12, offenses, and they went smaller. They went small defensive ends, small corners, and it just didn't work. And so they started rebuilding it, going back to we need, big, strong, fast guys. My biggest complaint about last year wasn't giving up so many yards per game, was we couldn't tackle anybody. I mean, the Kansas State game.
What's your perception on that? Is that a lack of coaching, or is that a lack of contact in practice, or is that a lack of players preparing? What do you believe when we have a tackling problem? Because arguably, in my mind, we're one of the worst tackling teams in the country for like the last 10 freaking years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because I'm watching the games so intently and I expect more. But it makes me want to throw up. Legitimately regurgitate everything that I've eaten that week when I watch our tackling.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of some, but I think one of the things you haven't, that you didn't throw out there was effort. Okay, because if you watched, when I came back, we went to the Rose Bowl and I watched I forced myself to watch some of the playback, and
I've watched it about 6 times.
Yeah, if you watch that third quarter, there was some loafing at effort going on. Lack of effort in that.
Listen, I think we talked about this last time I was here, but I turned to my wife when they came out at halftime, and I looked across the field at Georgia's sideline, and those guys, you could just see it in their eyes, like they were ready to go. And then you look at our sideline, and it was like the game was over.
Yeah.
Like they had already won the game. And I turned to my wife and I said, I don't like that.
Yeah.
This could go. This could end up bad for us. And I don't want to be bad premonition, but that's what happened, right?
Yep. Well, and I turned to Caleb and went, hey, as long as we come out, we got the ball first. If we drive down and score, this game's going to keep going like it is. And
how about we just talk about the first half of this game and not so much the second half?
Man. But it's important, right?
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you could ever learn in your life, right, is going back and revisiting your mistakes and learning from them, right? So,
yeah.
And I think we also talked about this last time in that we may, like Lincoln Riley may have leveled up that game.
Yeah.
When you watch a superhero movie or Dragon Ball Z movie or whatever, and the hero gets beat and just gets, embarrassed, and then there's just something that awakens inside. I think that's possibly what we could be looking at Lincoln Riley, where he just, he died inside, and now we're getting just a complete monster.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's going to be passive. I don't think that he's going to be tentative. I think he's going to be cutthroat. And I think I think he has a chance with the talent that he's bringing in to, like I said earlier, come for Alabama's neck.
Yeah.
And really put Oklahoma back on what we know we are, and make everybody else look at us the same way that they look at Alabama. I think that's a possibility in the next 5 to 6 years if he maintains this level of success on the recruiting trail and he trusts himself. And that's what I think in the Rose Bowl he didn't do. I don't think he trusted himself.
Yeah.
I think Bob was looking over his shoulder. He's like, what would Bob do? What would Bob do? And I think now it's going to be, what would I do? And I think if he does do that, things are going to get really, really scary. For everybody else, it's going to be a lot of fun for us.
I agree. And you know what? The university has proven that they're behind him with the facilities. We are second to none now. And it's even going to get even better. I mean, I think they're putting Wi-Fi in the entire stadium so that you can actually text when you're in the stadium now, which is not really a big deal to anybody, but I certainly know they've been putting some high dollar stuff in lately. So
yeah, and then the scoreboard, the screen in the north end zone.
yeah, that's still underway as well.
Are you guys worried about the new president at all, and kind of some of the things that he said about the university spending?
Rob is, I'm not, because if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of handpicked, by Bourne. Okay. And he's a businessman and he's already made some cuts and this, but, I don't know. I mean, Bourne, he's not going to be a better president than Bourne was, I don't think. But, as long
my
as
concern is the spending,
running.
right? Because I guess I like approving the next expansions and stuff with some of the comments he's made about expansions. But somebody brought it up to me the other day that makes a little bit of sense to me, and that is that football is the number one, money generator of our university. So it's likely that, athletic spending and football spending is separate from university spending.
Yep.
So
well, all
the
all the stadium stuff is primarily donations, which still just dumbfounds me. I mean,
right.
they get I think Rob, it's something like a matching. I think do you know that?
Yeah, I couldn't speak to it. I don't know well enough to speak to it.
But I know a lot of it. I know a lot of it is donations.
Well out of my.
They.
Well, a lot of it's not though.
Yeah. But again, look at the amount of money.
Well, you have to keep up. If you're going to keep, what are we, 5th on the list or 6th on the list or of most profitable
universities,
third
programs, football programs?
Yeah.
Are we third?
We're somewhere
third.
on there. Top 20 for sure. But
yeah, it's third.
In order to stay there, you've got to keep doing.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to keep up with everybody else. You can't let an Oregon or a Notre Dame or people like that, upgrade their facilities and outshine you. You just can't do it. And that's one thing that, I think that's why a lot of us are fans of summer football is the way that we are. And I'm not saying that the other fan bases aren't similar, but there's just something about being an Oklahoma fan. The university tends to do things the right way.
Yeah.
And there's something, there's something about that that's, you've got some respect for the university rather than just, oh, I love football, right?
Yeah.
Like things tend to get done right around there. The hard way, with high expectations.
Right.
And going back to like the Mixon situation, in my opinion, that was handled amicably.
Yeah.
Like that was the way that it should have been handled. As much as criticism as they got, we stuck to our guns. We did what we thought was right. And there's a lot of that. And I think it'll continue to happen. Like, we know football is our thing. We know how important it is to the fans and to the university and to the state. So we're going to continue pushing the boundary of being the absolute pinnacle of a college football program. We're there right now, and I hope we stay there.
Well, and I'm telling you, success, breeds the stadium renovations and everything else, because it was right after 2000. They built we win the national title. We're in national championship races. Boom. They build the east side upper deck. And, we didn't flounder, but we weren't Oklahoma like we had been in the early 2000s. And then we jump in and we're in the Final Four for the first time. Boom. All of a sudden they're tearing down the south end zone and redoing it. And I'm telling you, if we're in the playoffs again and again and again, 2 or 3 more times in the next 3 or 4 years, you're going to see more stuff like that happen, because
I agree.
That generates a massive amount of money. And, they're the only way to keep, I kind of said it, I feel like we're Ronald Reagan during the Cold War. He was, his whole thing was, we'll outspend the Russians. We got more money than them. And I feel like when you're winning like this, and even Clemson and Alabama, they're forking money over into that program to stay there, And
you can see what happened to Clemson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when they blew us out, the Outback Bowl or whatever stupid bowl that was,
Yeah.
the Trevor Knight, and we got just embarrassed. I mean, they were not. Nobody was talking about Clemson like they talk about Clemson. Like Clemson almost overnight went from, maybe a top 100 school to the premier college football program in the country, rivaling Alabama.
Yeah.
And there's few teams that have had the consistent level of success that Oklahoma's had. But to your point earlier, even when it's funny as a fan when you look back and you're like, oh, well, we weren't as good as we were in the early 2000s, but man, 11 Big 12 championships.
Yeah.
those are our. We get championships in our down years.
Yeah. Oh,
8 and 5 is, and we want to fire everybody that is wearing crimson.
Yeah.
There's schools out there that are begging for Aggies 8 and 5.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's. There are schools that would trade us in a heartbeat for our level of success on our bad years.
Yep.
Over the last 18 years, I don't think there's anybody that's been as consistent as us. And, there's poll after poll and article after article that's came out over the last couple of years that over the course of college football history, nobody's as consistent as us. Maybe there's, a handful of teams that have won more national championships, but nobody's got more 10-win seasons. No one has more 11-win seasons. When it comes to winning football games, that's what Oklahoma does.
Yeah.
Win football games. But we need to win a big one soon because I'm really getting tired of this.
I'm tired of Heisman Park getting bigger and our trophy case not getting any bigger. Heisman trophies are great, but hey,
it's just letdown after letdown after letdown in the most emotional games, and it's I hate it so much, and it doesn't deter me from being a Sooner fan.
Yeah,
we've got to break the curse.
It drives me nuts because you look at it, you got Jason White, national championship game, loses but wins the Heisman. What's his name?
Bradford.
Yeah, Sam Bradford, same thing.
Yep.
Won the Heisman Trophy, didn't win a national title. Now, and arguably the greatest quarterback to play college football with, same thing, wins the Heisman and doesn't win a national title. I'm about to where I'm ready to, I don't care if anybody wins a Heisman Trophy. I want a couple of national titles.
I've had a few sad moments in my life, but like that moment of watching Baker, because I don't know if you guys were following me at the time. I was there and I was in the corner, and I was actually yelling at him as he walked down the tunnel underneath me. And that picture of him holding his finger up, like that was to me and the guys next to me. There was like 3 Sooner fans
cool.
there, and we were all like, "Thanks, Baker. We love you, Baker." We were yelling it out, and he put his finger up. And so in that picture, like I was a part of his last moment in a Sooner football uniform, and that was one of the most heartbreaking moments, top 5 at least, it has to be in my life, that just emotional, just bottom.
Yeah.
Of like nobody deserved, in my opinion, nobody deserved that more. Nobody worked harder for a national championship appearance and ultimately a national championship than him. And for it to end that way was just devastating, man. It took me weeks to recover from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a long drive. We were there and we were staying over in Palmdale, and it was a long drive back to Palmdale that night.
Yeah.
We actually sat in the parking lot for, I don't know, or the golf course is where we were parked at, but for, I don't know.
Well, the traffic was miserable getting out of there, right?
Yeah. So we sat there about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Bob Stoops' statue gave me and my wife a ride back to our hotel, and he's as big a Sooner fan as anybody. Loved that guy, and he was so gracious to me and my wife.
Yeah,
the whole time we were there, but just silence.
Yeah,
just complete silence all the way home. Like there's just no words.
Yeah,
for the pain.
Yeah, it was just quiet. Sitting there. Like I said, we sat at the stadium for a while, finished up some beers, and then we went and grabbed some food, and then drove back, and it was just like ugh the whole way there. But did you? I wanted to kind of change real quick. Did you hear what Lane Kiffin said at their media days?
I did not. I'm interested. Please tell me what Lane Kiffin said.
He said they asked him about what he thought about Kyler Murray. He said, "I think he needs to go play baseball." So
I'll tell you what, man. Lane is he's easily one of the most entertaining guys in college football.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
It's going to make it an interesting first game. Because you're going to have a lot of media bites and it's definitely going to be a fun game.
The media is going to be all over it. You can mark it down now. There's going to be tons of people talking about how poorly Oklahoma does against inferior opponents on opening day over the past 5 years, or probably even longer than that. Like, it's going to be made almost to probably be like a marquee game when it's not, even though it's being paid at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. You got to get up early on game days then, don't you?
I enjoy it. I'm an early guy anyway. I get up at 4:30 in the morning for work, 4 days a week, and even on my days in, I'm up at 8 o'clock is sleeping in. So it's 9 is kickoff here for me generally. And I don't mind it, because then I'm up and I get the game out of the way, and then I have a whole day to do whatever I want to do. And usually, as often as we win, I have a whole day to have a good time. But,
yeah.
I think we're going to find out a lot about Lincoln Riley and the future of this program in that game, simply by how we come out.
Yeah.
If we come out and just beat the brakes off of this team and put Lane Kiffin in a hole where nobody wants to talk about him because we beat him by 45 and just embarrass them, that's the Oklahoma that I need to see to start feeling like we're trending up and we're not staying the same.
Yeah.
We can get all the recruits we want, but that's, like you had said earlier, there's just this curse about Oklahoma where we show up to games that we just feel like we're like entitled. Like Oklahoma's here, we're going to win.
Yeah.
And our guys don't play like, I want to see some nastiness in this game. I want to see some guys come out and be ready to win the national championship game 1. And if Lincoln can figure out a way to do that with the guys that we have and as well as we develop here, I think we're in a good path.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
It's only 6 weeks away.
Yep. It's about time. It's kicking into that time of year. And just, a little programming note for you that we're working on is I've already talked with guys from the FAU Owl's Nest podcast.
Nice.
And we're going to, looks like we're going to do a podcast game week with them, and also the What's Bruins podcast with the UCLA.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're reaching out to other fan-type podcasts and saying, hey, y'all want to, and of course everybody, it's
Rob,
Oklahoma.
are you requiring them to bring you cookies or to send you cookies?
Well, it's always a suggestion, not necessarily a requirement.
See, what you got to do, Rob, is you have to say this is Oklahoma. You're privileged to come on our podcast, so the fee for being on our podcast is.
Hey, I'm all in on that deal. Yeah.
But see, it's funny. it's funny that you step into that, because actually that's the next thing I was going to let you know and let the fans out there know about. And next week is the Champ U barbecue, where they bring in recruits and all the players. They have the big bar. I wonder if they're going to still have it out at Bob's house. Probably, but they have the big barbecue.
The castle.
Yeah, they call it the Champ U barbecue. Well, we're actually coinciding with that. We're calling it the Champ U fan feast, Champ U fan feast. And what we've done is we've got folks who've been hits on our, that are close enough, that have been great podcasts, and they follow us and stuff. And so we're going to have Jim Dillingham here at my house, Claude Mills,
my man, Jim.
Yeah, Claude.
Love Jim.
Claude Mills. Sooner Lisa.
Love Claude too.
Tara Portillo. I can't say her last name, but she's also known as the Rabid Sooner.
Yep.
and
she's the cookie one.
She's
right?
bringing the cookies, right?
She's bringing the cookies.
Hey, they were good too. I'm not even lying.
Hey, how cool is it for you guys to be able to be doing that?
Oh,
I mean, in all honesty, you know, like it's not like it's the coolest thing in the world that just two cool guys like you can jump on, do something that you love, connect with other people that love it as much as you guys, and then you can just communicate and spend time and hang out. You know, like how amazing is this for you guys?
Oh, it's going to be a blast. We're having a blast, and this is going to be a blast because
it's going to be big.
Yeah, because we got Treylinda Kerr, you know, former Miss Oklahoma Treylinda Kerr, going to be here.
Nice.
I stood her up, by the way. Just
saying. And we got Holzhammer is going to be here, and Tattoo Baker.
Trouble's coming.
Yeah, Tattoo Baker is going to be here, and
I'll pass.
And Blinken Riley.
I love you guys.
Blinken Riley is going to be here too. Awesome. They're all coming to the house here. We're going to have a big cookout. We're going to set up the stuff, and we're going to do some podcasts, eat some burgers and dogs, and probably drink a few
and some cookies,
and so or drink a few beers and eat a few cookies, and just do some podcasts.
Now, how does the cookies work with the new laws in Oklahoma?
No.
I think these are unleaded cookies.
They're unleaded cookies.
She is a district attorney or something like that.
Yeah, she's an assistant DA or an associate DA, something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to be unleaded.
But
just kidding.
Yeah,
no, that sounds amazing. When is it again?
Next Saturday, they're all coming here to my house, and we're going to set stuff up. Going to cook a bunch.
Are you guys going to broadcast live, or are you guys?
We may do. It may be our first attempt to do some YouTube live stuff. I've played around with it, and I can't seem to get it to work right. But I think we figured out our problem, so we'll probably do some YouTube stuff. If not, we'll
video
hit
up RJ.
Yeah, we'll video it.
RJ will help you out.
We'll video it at least and then put it out there, but also just podcasts. And it's just, we'll probably do 2 or 3, you know, just depends on how everybody's feeling. And we kind of reached out to those like, you know, Holzhammer and Tattoo. They were our first 2 guests, and they actually reached out to us. Okay. You know, when we were first started doing this, they were the first ones to, hey man, I like what you guys are doing. And I was like, hey, y'all want to be on the podcast? This is what our plans are. And, Sooner Lisa and Tara and Treylinda, they were the first ladies, you know, when I put out there, hey, we got a bunch of hairy-legged men, you know, coming on the podcast, you know, any of the Sooner ladies want to, and they were all, you know, hey, you know, we'll do it. And then like Jim and Claude, you know, they were constantly, you know, promoting us, you know, as fans, you know, hey, listen to them, and which we truly appreciate. We love those guys. And then, of course, you know, we've had Blinken on a couple of times, and you know, Blinken's the crown jewel of Sooner fans, especially on Twitter.
Oh man,
he's pretty popular.
I'm so thankful that for technology being able to pull his tweets in for me to be able to keep up, because that man is my spirit animal.
Oh,
he's everything I wish I could be.
Yeah, I mean,
the embodiment of how you end somebody's life in a digital format, and then, but you do it in a professionally well-mannered way.
Yeah,
he is
it's just
an outstanding, incredible person.
It's just as a matter of fact, you know, they'll, you know, there was one last week. He was in it. I think it was an Alabama fan. He was going back, or maybe it was an A&M. I can't remember. He was going back and forth with, and just kept shutting him down. And there was one, the guy. You know, there's there, THERE, and there, THEIR, and the guy misspelled, you know, misused there, and Blinken's reply was the correct spelling. It was there, you know? Which was perfect. I mean, he didn't have to go any further than that.
No, he's incredible, man. I have to limit the amount of Blinken tweets that I read at one time. Otherwise, my face will permanently get stuck in like that really like sour, like you just ate a warhead face. Because almost every time you read a tweet from him, you're like, oh, he just murdered that guy. So I can only do about like 1 to 2 blinking an hour, but I maintain it throughout the day so I can keep a normal face.
Yeah, but no, but he's gonna come up. So we're gonna have a house full of folks, and bless my wife. I said something to her about it, and she's all behind the podcast. She loves what we're doing, and the only thing is I've got to contact because they all wanted to bring something. What can we bring? And of course, Tara was like, "Well, I'm going to bring cookies as long as you share them with Rob." And I said, "Rob's on his own," but I told him, "Bring whatever y'all want. Bring your drinks. Bring whatever. We're having burgers and dogs." Well, of course, that doesn't sit with the wife. She was like, "No, they can't bring whatever they want. Find out what one person is bringing. Get a hold of the next one. Tell them so and so is bringing this. What are you planning on bringing?" And that because I don't want 6 people bringing potato salad. I'm like, ugh, okay,
yeah,
which she's right.
Coordination. I mean, you're going to be okay because you have a few women in there, but you've also got some guys in there, and we're not. I mean, as you could tell with my scheduling with the podcast last night, tonight is we're not good at coordination and doing organization. So have fun with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll turn out fine. You got a great group of people there.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Be an amazing thing.
It's gonna be fun, and we're gonna look at making it a annual deal, and hopefully each year it'll just grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and do more stuff like this, and because. Thanks to guys like yourself.
I'll fly out for that.
Well, there you go. But thanks to guys like yourself and Blinken, and I don't want to say any more because I would leave somebody out. But everybody out there who retweets our stuff, I mean, we never expected. Okay, we thought, hey, we'll do this, and we'll have fun, and when the year gets here, we'll get some followers and stuff. We never expected. We started in February. Okay. And we're already up to 1,300 followers on Twitter, about almost 1,000 on Facebook. And
you guys are doing it right, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I've always been proud of with the Sooner community online. Is there's so much support for people that just want to try to do things, and that was kind of one of the things that I always really took personally too is if I saw somebody wanting to start something because they love doing it, like I really wanted to just allow them to be as successful as possible. I lucked into some followers. I never really did anything and had any attention to that. So I always wanted you guys to be successful, and I knew you would. Just listening to you guys the first couple podcasts, you're always going to get better, and things are always going to be rough when you start. But you guys just had a passion and a love for Sooner football that millions of people can relate to because we are a fanatic fan base. We're crazy, and it's blood. It literally pumps through our veins, and you guys have that. And I think you're connecting with other people that have that, and you're doing it without any reservations, right? We don't care who you are, what you do, how many followers you have. We don't care. Do you love Sooner football? Yeah? Okay, come talk to us.
Right.
Let's put you online.
That's how we are right
and
there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's incredible. Brilliant idea, number one. So kudos to you guys. And then number two, something that gets overlooked a lot is the amount of effort it takes to be consistent with something that you guys are doing. A lot of people don't understand the work you have to do in the background, and the amount of time it takes to be able to coordinate these things and get them out consistently. And for you guys to have a normal life and then just be doing this for fun on the side is pretty outstanding. So I'm privileged. I feel privileged to be on here. I'm thankful to have created a friendship, I believe, with you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I absolutely look forward to many, many more years of you guys doing this incredible stuff and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes.
Well, Bret, we sure appreciate that. And the kind words and the same to you. But I think we're going to go ahead and end the podcast because Rob let me know that earlier today that it's National Send a Nude Day.
Does that mean he's got to go send some nudes, Terry? What's up with that?
I got to go take some pictures real quick.
So I'm guessing he said that because he wanted to get done with the podcast so he could, either go send or receive. I don't know.
Rob's got a really long list. It's going to take him a while.
I have no words.
I have no. Yeah, you open that up for a follow up, but we're not gonna.
No.
We're not gonna go there.
Nope.
Rob, just remember angles, always the angles.
Well, I need them. I need every one of them. So there you go.
Listen, hey, I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me. You guys are incredible again, and I look forward to being back sometime soon, and I look forward to hearing the awesome guests that you guys bring in.
All right, man. Well, Rob, that's it for tonight.
Man, it was a good one.
All right. Boomer, Rob.
Boomer.
And Boomer Brett.
Sooner!
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. If you want to be on the podcast and talk Sooner football with us, go to www.soonerfootballfans.com. Click on the How to Be on the Podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll get you on. Boomer.